Hello, book lovers and English learners. Welcome to Lydia's Book Club podcast, your weekly dose of reading in English. I'm Lydia Bureau, I'm the English teacher in France and also the founder of Lydia's Book Club, a book club for learners of English and non-native English speakers who want to maintain their level in English, their fluency in English. In this book club, I host live readings and live discussion workshops on adaptations of classics of literature and contemporary novels in their original text. I also tend to prioritize books that are written by women. Each month or every 2 months, we read and explore a different book for all levels of English. In March and April 2025, we've decided with the members of the book club to read this book. It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover, published in 2022. For this book, you need a strong B2 upper intermediate or C1 advanced level in English because we're reading this book in its original text. So you need to be quite confident in your English. So we've decided to read this book because our last read was It Ends With Us, also written by Colleen Hoover. And this book is the sequel book of this one. So it just made sense to us. So we read this book in January and February. So it just made sense to us to read the sequel book. And we're also curious to know what Colleen Hoover had in mind for the sequel. So I don't know if you know anything. Well, if you don't know anything about these books or Colleen Hoover, then I invite you to listen to the podcast episode 30, which is available on this YouTube channel, but also on Spotify. So you have it available on both platforms. And this way you get more context and background about Colleen Hoover and about this American writer, Colleen Hoover. And also you will know a little bit more about the storyline of both books, basically. So today it is session 16, and we are going to read chapters 33 and 34. We're approaching the end of the book. Look at this. We're here now. So there's just these couple pages to read. We will finish the reading tomorrow. So it's exciting, the same to know the end, but also it's always a mixed feeling when you end a book because you're excited to know the end, but at the same time, you don't want to leave those characters. You don't want it to end sometimes. So so yeah, it's going to be bittersweet, we say in English. Bitter. It's something that doesn't have a lot of taste. Bittersweet. Yeah. And sweet is when it's with a lot of sugar usually in it. Sweet has a different meaning, and has different meanings. But here it is a mixed feeling of emotion, I would say. So if you would like to attend this live reading live here on Zoom with me, you just need to subscribe, sorry, to the newsletter of the book club, and you get your link to the Zoom sessions. And on the website, you have, and also on the newsletter, you get all the dates of the reading, of the schedule of the readings. So you know when you have to go live or to join me and join us with the other participants. So it will be joining the live readings will be really the best way for you to improve your reading comprehension skills. And it is the opportunity for you to ask me any questions about the book, but also the book club and how it works. If you're interested in becoming a member. And talking about that, on Saturday, the 26th of April, so this Saturday, I will host the second live discussion workshop of the book. It starts with us. We will discuss chapters 15 to 25. And this live discussion will only be accessible for the members of the book club. The third workshop will be the following Saturday. It's a private discussion on Zoom. So if you want to join us and be part of the conversation, you just need to become a member of the book club. So you can find the link in the description and go to lidisbookclub.com and you'll be able to join the discussion workshop where you will be able to improve your speaking skills and also your fluency, gain more confidence in reading and in speaking. And also joining the book club will keep you motivated to read, to continue reading the book and to read more as well. And also, it's going to be a fantastic way to meet other members of the book club. So if you're not sure about joining the book club yet, you can purchase any live workshop series that we've done before on the workshop store of the book club. So you can find the link in the description as well. You don't need to become a member for that. You just select the workshop that you want to see. And on checkout, you'll be asked to create your own login. And this login will give you a private access to the videos to watch on your own time and at your own pace, really. So it's more of an independent kind of process or way of reading or being part of the book club, but it's not like being fully part of the book club and being a real member, an active member, I would say. But it's going to be a good way for you to see how it's like to be in a live discussion workshop, basically. So yeah, this is all I wanted to say for now. So let's get started. So I'm going to do a quick recap of chapters 30. So the last chapters, so 30, 31, 32. Last Wednesday, I read 3 chapters. They were rather short, so that's why I combined these 3 chapters in one session. So in chapter 30, Lily is narrating this chapter, and it's just after Atlas's mother left, and Atlas went to his bedroom and just isolated himself in a way because his little brother Josh had just said that he didn't want to live either with his mother, or with Atlas. He just wanted to find his dad, and that really hurt Atlas. So he felt defeated in a way, and really disappointed in a way, because he's putting a lot of effort in and a lot of energy in trying to protect Josh, and it doesn't seem to pay off, or at least Josh doesn't seem to see that, and I guess that pains a lot Atlas. So so Josh is in his bedroom, like just slammed the door in his bedroom, and Atlas just went to have a moment for himself. So Lily finds herself on her own, and she started making breakfast because they were about to. It's in the morning. The scene is happening in the morning. And the mother left, being satisfied from the fact that Josh didn't want to stay with Atlas. So you really see Atlas's mother, so his mother's character, Sutton's character here, and you really shows that she just came to Atlas's house to just for the sake of fighting him, and not to and not because she cares about Josh. She just wants to get him back. She just came for him because she knew that it would annoy um, Atlas. But knowing that actually Josh is not happy to stay with Atlas, then she doesn't care anymore. So you see how her mind works really here. And that confirms what Atlas was saying in the previous chapters about the fact that his mother just wants to fight for the sake of fighting. So Josh finally comes out of the bedroom because Lily come to his bedroom and ask him if he would like to have breakfast, and he is uh, willing to. Well, he comes out of the room to get food, to get some food, and they start chatting together, and at some point, Lily just throws in a way, just says that that she is, well, no, actually, sorry, Josh started asking about how long they've been together, or they've known each other. And she starts saying that she's known him for a long time, as that when since they were teenagers, and that he would spend a lot of time, they would spend a lot of time together, and and Josh uh, learns from Lily that uh, Atlas didn't live with his mother. Well, didn't always live with his mother. She tells him that he had to survive on his own without his mother. And that is something that surprises Josh, because he thought that he'd always lived with their mother. Or that in some ways he had it easier than him. But here she's trying to make him understand that he should go easy on his brother and try to understand that that Atlas cares a lot about him. And then the conversation moves on to the topic of Josh's future, when Lily asks him about what he wants to do in the future, if he's interested in being a chef like his brother. But Josh is not really into it, or doesn't seem to be very attracted by the job, and he sees his brother working really hard and at night, and working late, etc. So he seems to be a little bit out of, not lost. He's young, he's 12 years old, so He doesn't seem to know what he wants to do in the future. And like Theo, who really knows, like he's very um, driven compared to Josh, who seems uh, to search himself or to question himself still about his future. And here there is an interesting uh, point of view, or I would say insight from Lily here when we see that she's questioning her career choice as a flower shop owner. It doesn't seem like it's something that she would continue doing in the future. Because she says, "Oh, sometimes I feel like I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up." Uh, and it seems like she starts getting bored about her job as a florist. Um, and they start playing this game of what they would like to do. And at some point, and they're just throwing ideas like Josh is saying that he would like to be a professional fisherman. And then Lily says, I want to make poetry and then sell it in fairs and then write a book someday. Um, so and then Josh says he would like to become a captain of a ship. So they start having a banter. They're joking in a way, and Atlas arrives at that time at this point, and he seems to be in the better mood and tells Josh that they are going to go on a trip, on a road trip, and they're actually going to see Josh's dad because Atlas had found his address and had tried to contact his dad, but he didn't return his calls, and um, or trying or yeah, he doesn't seem to be interested in knowing about Josh. And but Atlas didn't say that to Josh, uh, just by fear of getting him upset and disappointed about his father. So he said to him that he couldn't find a way to contact his dad, but he found his address. So they're going to Josh's dad, Tim, in Vermont. So it's about 3 hours drive or something. So chapter 31 is the chapter where Atlas and Josh are at in front of Tim's house, but Josh is a little bit nervous and he stays in the car. He doesn't move and he's pondering, we could say, whether he should go or not. He's anxious, as you can imagine, to come out of the car and knock at the door. He's just not sure about what to do. So Atlas feels that Josh needs guidance. He needs him to say something. And Atlas starts saying that his dad never tried to find him, and that if he, as a 12-year-old, had managed to find him just by Googling his name, we know that Atlas is quite famous now famous in Boston. He's quite renowned with his two restaurants. When you want to find so he's trying to make him understand that when you want to find someone, um, when you really want to try to find someone, you find that person. You did it, and you're only 12. He's a grown ass man, and he never even tried to find me. So so at this point, Josh realizes that his father never did either. And at the same time, Tim comes out of the house and he's walking towards his truck. And Josh had a big realization here. He sees that he owns a truck. A truck is like those big cars with something that they have. I don't know, like the back, American films that they have trucks, that they have like the back of the truck is like when you want to transport stuff. Anyway, a truck. Anyway, basically he's able to drive. He has a car. And all this time, so Josh had imagined that his dad was perhaps poor, that he couldn't drive, or to Boston to find him, he imagined so many excuses for his dad to not come to find him in Boston. Or that, yeah, he didn't have a good vision or any other excuse. And at this moment, he realizes that his father had none of these issues and he didn't try to find him. So at this point, Josh understands that his dad doesn't deserve him. And there is this very beautiful analogy, so metaphor, with the family tree, the image of the family tree, homework that he had to do for school. And he said, you know what? You know about this homework I had to do for school. And he said that the teacher never mentioned that the tree needed to have branches. And I could just draw a baby seedling. So, when it's a baby tree, basically, just the seedling of the tree and no branches. And he said, oh, I could do two tiny branches, and that would represent you and me, and our new family tree would start with us. So here you've got the whole meaning of the title here, and the fact that in relation to Atlas and Josh's story, the whole new beginning. These two characters, in a way, start over now, and we'll see afterwards with Lily and her situation with Ryle. So in chapter 32 now, Lily is at her house and she's about to go, and Atlas knocks at her door to just see her and hug her like they like to do in the novel. So she says to him that I'm about to go to Elise's house to have a chat with Big Talk. with Ryle. And he says that he's also on his way to his restaurant to meet Sutton, so his mother, and have a big talk as well. So this is these chapters, I guess 33 also will be a pivotal moment in the future of these characters, especially in relation to Atlas and Josh's future. And here, chapter 32 is a real pivotal moment for Lily and what's going to come, what's going to happen next with Ryle. And it's a turning point in a sense. Is a turning point for Lily and Ryle's relationship, because this is the moment where Lily says she put a stop on the whole Ryle's bullshit about his behavior towards her and about his threats and the fear she feels around him. And she asks him to get to undergo management, an anger management treatment in a way. Uh, because she doesn't want to have to deal with his different moods and his violence every time he's upset about what Lily says to him. And she doesn't want to accept that anymore. And at this point, Ryle, so they are in Alyssa's kitchen. Marshall arrives. Oh, well, Marshall is not yet there, but it's just Elisa and Lily and Ryle. And Ryle is not saying anything. He's just listening, looking at Elisa, then Lily, and, just trying to process the whole situation. And she says that while he's undergoing this anger management, she would prefer him to see Emerson at Marshall and Elisa's place. So he wouldn't be able to see his daughter alone, and also Riley, and also Riley. So I guess in support of Lily, Elisa also doesn't want him to spend time alone with Riley. And then Marshall enters the room, and Ryle think that he can find support in him, and instead Marshall's is he's taking the girls' side, of course, because they've organized that beforehand, so it makes sense. But anyway, it's really really interesting, or very well written, the way Marshall stares at him and tells him that I love you, you're my best friend, but I will not support you in this. I will stand behind the girls. And that's a very powerful moment here, Um, and Ryle feels that in a way Marshall has deceived him or he's he's a traitor in a way. Whatever is happening in his head, that's probably how he feels. Um, and Elisa also mentions that she will do anything to help Lily if he doesn't want to, or if he doesn't agree and wants to go to court. She will help her and not him. And she will do anything that she she would be in her power to help Lily. Although to help Lily to fight against him, although she loves him as a brother. So here, facing these three, facing this ultimatum, Ryle can't say anything because Lily now has witnesses and not just witnesses, but she has support. And that makes the whole difference. It's not just her against him. And she understood that when he came at the door and, you know, when he was about to, when he pinned her on her door and it was about to hit her, but he punched the door instead. Um, she understood at that point that she had to keep everything on record and not be on her own with him ever again because he didn't change. He was still the same. So that was a little bit long. So now let's get into the reading of chapter 33. Atlas. I called Sutton after I dropped Josh off at my house and asked her to meet me at Bibbs. I got here an hour before we agreed to meet. I've never cooked for her, so I'm hoping my making her a meal does something to her. Pleases her, puts her in a decent mood, anything to make her less combative. My phone pings, so I step away from the stove and look at the screen. I told her to text me when she arrives so I could let her in. She's 5 minutes early. I walk through the dark restaurant and, oops, sorry. I look, where was I? Sorry. I walk through the dark restaurant and flip on some lights on my way through. She's standing near the front, smoking a cigarette. When she sees the door open, she flicks the cigarette into the street and then follows me inside. Is Josh here? She asks. No, it's just me and you. I gesture toward a table. Have a seat. What do you want to drink? She regards me silently for a moment and says, red wine, whatever you have open. She takes a seat in a booth, and I head back to plate our food. I made coconut shrimp because I know it's her favorite. I saw her fall in love with it when I was 9 years old. It was on the one and only road trip she took me on. We went to Cape Cod, which isn't all that far from Boston, but it's the only time I remember my mother ever doing something with me on a day off. She usually slept or drank her way through her days off. So the day trip to Cape Cod, where we tried coconut shrimp for the first time, is not something that went unappreciated by me. I place our plates and drinks on a tray and walk it out to the table she's seated at. I set the food and wine in front of her, then take a seat across from her. I slide silverware to her side of the table. She stares at her plate for a beat. You cooked this? I did. It's coconut shrimp. What's the occasion? She asks, opening her napkin. Is this an apology for assuming you could actually parent a kid like him? She laughs like she told a joke, but the lack of noise in the restaurant makes her laugh fall flat. She shakes her head and picks up her glass of wine, sipping from it. I know she has 12 years on me with Josh, but I'm willing to bet I already know him better than she does. Josh probably knows me better than she knows me, and I lived with her for 17 years. What was my favorite food growing up? I ask her. She stares back at me blankly. Maybe that was a tough one. Okay, what about my favorite movie? Nothing. Color? Music? I give her a few more. Oh, hoping she can answer at least one of them. She can't. She shrugs, setting down her wine glass. What kind of books does Josh like to read? Is that a trick question? She asks. I settle back against the booth, attempting to hide my agitation, but it's living and breathing in every part of me. You don't know anything about the people you brought into this world. I was a single mother to both of you, Atlas. I didn't have time to worry about what you like to read when I was busy trying to survive. She drops the fork she was about to use. Jesus Christ. I didn't ask you to come here so I could make you feel bad. Oh, sorry. I didn't ask you to come here so I could make you feel bad, I say. I take a sip of my water and then run my finger around the rim of my glass. I don't even need an apology. Neither does he. I look at her pointedly, shocked that I am about to say what I'm about to say. It's not what I came here to say to her at all, but the things I selfishly came here for aren't what's nagging at me. I want to give you an opportunity to be a better mother to him. Maybe the issue is that he should be a better son. He's 12. He is as good as he needs to be. Besides, the relationship you have with him isn't his responsibility. She scratches her cheek and then flicks a hand in the air. What is this? What is this? Why am I here? Do you want me to take him back because he's too much for you to handle? Not even close, I say. I want you to sign your rights over to me. If you don't, I'll take you to court and it will cost us both a ridiculous amount of money that neither of us wants to pay. But I'll pay it. If that's what it takes, I will drag this in front of a judge who will take one look at your history and force you to undergo a year of parenting classes that we both know you have no interest in completing. I lean forward, folding my arms together. I want legal custody of him, but I'm not asking you to disappear. I don't want you to. The last thing I want is for that boy to grow up feeling as unloved by you as I felt. She sits frozen in my words, so I pick up my fork and take a casual bite of my dinner. She stares at me while I chew, and she's still staring at me as I wash down the food with a sip of water. I'm sure her brain is running a mile a minute, searching for an insult or a threat of her own. But she's got nothing. Every Tuesday night, we're going to have dinner here, as a family. You're more than welcome to come. I'm sure he would enjoy that. And never ask you for a penny. All I ask is that you show up one night a week and be interested in who he is, even if you have to fake it. I notice Sutton's fingers are shaking as she reaches for her wine glass. She must notice too, because she makes a fist before grabbing it and pulls her hand back to her lap. You must not remember Cape Cod if you think I was such a horrible mother to you. I remember Cape Cod, I say. It's the one memory I try to hold on to so that I don't completely resent you. But while you feel like you did this wonderful thing by giving me that one memory of us that one time, I'm offering to give that to Josh every day of his life. Sutton looks down at her lap when I say that. For the first time, she looks like she might be experiencing an emotion other than anger or irritation. Maybe I am too. When I decided to have this conversation with her on the drive home from Tim's house today, I fully planned on cutting her out of our lives forever. But even monsters can't survive without a heart beating inside their chest. There's a heart in there somewhere. Maybe no one in her life has ever let her know they're appreciative that it still beats. The heart, yeah. Thank you, I say. Her eyes flicker up to mine. She thinks I'm testing she thinks I'm testing her with that comment. I shake my head, conflicted by what I'm about to say. You were a single mother, and I know neither of our fathers, and I know neither of our fathers helped you in any way. That must have been really difficult for you. Maybe you're lonely. Maybe you're depressed. I don't know why you can't look at motherhood like the gift that it is, but you're here. You showed up tonight, and that effort is worth a thank you. Oh my God, this guy. This is such a fictional character because, or you need to have done a lot of therapy and just self-reflection uh, uh, to be able to pull this out. She looks down at the table, and it's a completely unexpected reaction when her shoulders begin to shake. But she fights back the tears with all that she is. She brings her hands up to the table and fidgets with her napkin, but never has to use it because she doesn't allow a single tear to fall. I don't know what she went through that made her so hard. So unwilling to be vulnerable. Maybe one of these days she'll share that with me, but she has a lot to prove as a mother to Josh before she and I will ever get to that point. She pulls her shoulders back, sitting up straighter. What time will the diner be? With the dinner, sorry. What time will the dinner be on Tuesdays? 7. She nods and looks like she's about to scoot out of the booth. I can get you a to-go box if you want to take it with you. She nods quickly. I'd like that. It's always been my favorite dish. I know. I remember Cape Cod. I take her plate to the kitchen and prepare it to go. Josh is asleep on the couch when I finally make it back home. Anime is playing on the television, so I hit pause and set the remote on the coffee table. I watch him sleep for a little while, overcome with relief that after the day I've had. Things could have gone a lot differently. I press my lips together, choking back the emotional exhaustion as I watch him sleep in peace. I realize as I'm staring at him that I'm looking at him the same way Lily looks at Emerson, like she's so full of pride. I pull the blanket off the back of the couch and drape it over him. Then I walk to the table where Josh's homework is laid out. Everything is completed, even the family tree, even the family tree assignment. So, the homework he had to do. He drew a tiny seedling sprouting from the ground with two small branches. One says Josh and one says Atlas. Right, chapter 34. Lily. I almost missed the note. I was in such a rush this morning. I was shoved under my front door and was caught on the entry rug. I had Emmy on my hip, a purse and a diaper bag on my shoulder, and coffee in my free hand. I managed to bend and pick up the note without spilling any of it. Super mom. I had to wait until I got a quiet moment at work to open it. When I unfold the note and see Atlas's handwriting, I feel a shiver of relief run through me. Not because I thought the note would be from anyone other than Atlas. We've been together several months now, and he leaves me notes all the time. But this is one of the first notes he's left that a small part of me hasn't dreaded opening. In the off chance the note was from Ryle. I make a mental note of the significance of this moment. I do that a lot. Mentally note significant things that are clues my life is finally getting back to normal. I don't do it as often as I used to, but it's a good thing. Ryle is such a small part of my life now. I sometimes forget how eternally complicated I used to believe it would be. He's still a part of Amy's life, but I've been demanding more structure from him. He sometimes tries to push back on how strict I am with her visits, but I'm never going to be comfortable until she can tell me in her own words what her visits with Ryle are like. I'm hoping anger management is helping, but only time will tell. The contact Ryle and I do have is still sometimes terse. But all I've ever wanted out of our divorce was my freedom from fear, and I truly feel like I have that. I'm hiding in my office storage closet, sitting cross-legged on the floor because I wanted to read this letter in uninterrupted. It's been months since I forced Atlas to hide out in here. Oh, yeah, to hide out. You remember when Atlas had to hide in a closet. But it still smells like him. I unfold the note and trace the little open heart he drew at the top left-hand corner of the first page. I'm already smiling as I begin to read. Dear Lily, I don't know if you're aware of the date, but we have officially been dating for half of an entire year. Do people celebrate half-year anniversaries? I would have gotten you flowers, but I don't like to make the florist work too hard. I decided to give you this note instead. They say there are two sides to every story, and I've read a couple of stories of yours that even though they happened the way you said they did, I had an entirely different experience. You kind of brushed over this moment in your journals, even though I know it meant enough for you to get a tattoo. But I'm not sure you're aware of how much that moment meant to me. You say our first kiss happened on your bed, but that's not the one I count as our first kiss. Our first kiss happened on a Monday in the middle of the day. It was that time I got sick and you took care of me. You noticed I was ill as soon as I crawled through your window. I remember you taking immediate action. You gave me medicine, water, and blankets, and forced me to sleep on your bed. I don't remember even being sicker than that in my entire life. I do believe you witnessed the most awful day I've ever lived through. And I've lived through some awful days. But when you're in it, there seems to be nothing worse in the moment than an horrible stomach bug. I don't remember a lot of that night. I remember your hands, though. Your hands were always near me, either checking my temperature or whipping my face with a rag or holding my shoulders steady while I repeatedly had to fold over the side of your bed throughout the night. That's what I remember. Your hands. You had a light pink polish on, a nail polish. I even remember the name of the color because I had been with you when you painted your nails. It was it was called Surprise Surprise Lily, and you told me you picked it because of the name. I could barely open my eyes, but every time I did, there they were, your slender helping hands with your surprise lily fingernails, holding up my water bottle, feeding me medicine, tracing my jaw. Yes, Lily, I remember that moment, even though you didn't write about it. After hours of being ill, I remember waking up, or at least becoming more aware of my surroundings. My head was pounding and my mouth was parching and my eyelids were too heavy to open. But I felt you. I felt your breath on my cheek. Your fingertips were on my jaw and you traced them all the way down to my chin. You thought I was asleep, that I couldn't feel you touching me, washing me, but I had never felt more than I did in that moment. It was the exact moment I realized that I loved you. I kind of hated realizing something that monumental in the middle of such a shitty day, but it hit me so hard. I thought I was going to cry for the first time in years, and I didn't know what to do with that feeling. But man, Lily, I had gone my whole life not knowing what love felt like. I didn't have the love of a mother and son. I didn't have the love a mother and son should have, or a father and son, or a sibling. And until you, I had never spent that kind of time with anyone unrelated to me, especially a girl. Not long enough to truly get to know a girl, or for them to get to know me, or for us to connect and deepen that connection, and then for that girl to prove to be caring and helpful and kind and worried in everything that you were to me. I'm not even saying it was the moment I realized I was in love with you. It was just the first moment I realized I loved something, anything, anyone, ever. It was the first time my heart had ever reacted, at least in a positive way. People had done things to me in the past that made my heart shrink, but never expand like that. When your fingers were trickling over my chin, like soft drops of rain, I thought my heart was going to swell so big it might pop. I pretended to slowly wake up in that moment. I put my arm over my eyes, and you quickly pulled your hand back. I remember craning my neck and looking at your window to see if it was light outside. It almost was. So I started to pull myself out of your bed, pretending not to know you were awake. You sat up and asked me if I was leaving, and I had to swallow before I could get my voice to work. It barely did. I said something like, "Your parents will be up soon." You told me you were going to skip school and come back for me in a couple of hours. I nodded without speaking because I was still sick, but I had to get out of your bedroom before I said something or did something to embarrass myself. I didn't trust the feeling that was buzzing beneath my skin. It was creating this burning need to look at you and say, I love you, Lily. It's funny how, as soon as you feel love for the first time, you suddenly have this huge desire to profess it. The words felt like they were forming right in the center of my chest. And even though I was weaker than I'd probably ever been, I had never lifted your window and crawled out of it that fast before. I shut it and flattened my back against the cold wall of your house. And I exhaled. My breath turned to fog, and I closed my eyes. And after the absolute worst 8 hours of my life, I somehow cracked a smile. I thought about love the rest of the morning, even after you'd come back to get me once your even after you'd come back to get me once your parents were gone, and I spent several more hours being sick at your house. I was thinking about love. When your surprise lily fingernails would flash across my line of sight every time you checked my temperature. I'd think about love every time you'd walk into your room and adjust the covers, tucking them under my chin. I'd think about love. And then when I finally started to feel a little better around lunchtime, I stood in the shower, weak and dehydrated from being sick. Yet I somehow felt like I was standing taller than I ever had before. That whole morning and into the rest of the day, I knew something significant had happened. For the first time, I had felt a flicker of what I knew life could be. Before that moment, I never gave much thought to falling in love or having a family someday or even the idea of cultivating a successful career. Life to me had always felt like a burden I had to bear. Something heavy and murky that made waking up difficult and falling asleep a little bit scary. That's because I had gone 18 years not knowing what it felt like to care about someone so much you want them to be the first thing you see when you open your eyes. I even felt a desire to make something of myself because you were the first person I ever wanted to become something better for. That was the day we laid on your couch together, and you told me you wanted me to watch your favorite cartoon with you. It was the first time you had ever snuggled up to me, your back to my chest, as we lay under the blanket with my arm wrapped over you. It was hard to focus on the television because the words, I love you, were still tickling their way up my throat. And I didn't want to say it, couldn't say it, because I didn't want you to think it was too fast, or that those words held no weight for me. They were the heaviest damn thing I'd ever carried. But I think about that day so much, Lily, and I have no idea if that's what love feels like for everyone. Like it's an airplane that just fell from the sky and crashed right through you. But because most people, they have love seeping in and out their whole lives. They are born being wrapped in it, and they go their whole childhood being protected by it. And they have people in their lives that welcome their love in return. So I'm not sure it hits people like it hit me in one small moment in such a colossal way. You were wearing this shirt I love. It was too big for you, and the sleeve was always falling off your shoulder. I would have been I should have been watching the cartoon, but I couldn't stop staring at that stretch of exposed skin between your neck and your shoulder. As I was looking at it, I once again felt that incredible pull to say, I love you. And the words were there, right on the tip of my tongue. So I leaned forward and pressed them against your skin. And that's where they stayed, hidden and quiet, until I worked up the courage to speak them out loud to you 6 months later. I had no idea you remembered that kiss or all the times I kissed you in that spot after that day. Even when I read it in your journal, you rushed past it in a hurry to get to what you considered our actual first kiss. So I had no idea that it even meant anything to you until the moment I saw your tattoo. I can't tell you what that means to me, knowing that you have our heart placed in the very spot where I once secretly buried the words, I love you. This is very romantic here. Too romantic, I would say, for a male character. I don't know what you think, but anyway, very beautiful. Anyway, this is what fiction is for, romance is for. I want you to promise me something, Lily. When you look at that tattoo, I don't want you to think about, I don't want you to think about anything other than the words I've written in this letter. And every time I kiss you there, I want you to remember why I kissed you there the first time. Love. Discovering it, giving it, receiving it, falling in it, living in it, living for it. I'm writing this letter while sitting on the floor of Josh's bedroom. My experience with Josh tonight is kind of what sparked my memory. He's sick with a stomach bug. Maybe not as sick as I was the day I first realized I loved you, but very, very sick nonetheless. He caught it from Theo, who had it a few days ago. I've never taken care of a sick person before, so I have no medicine at all. I think I'm about to make a pharmacy run. I might slip this letter under your apartment door on my way there. It isn't fun taking care of a sick person. The sounds, the smell, the lack of sleep. It's actually almost as bad for the person doing the caring. Every time I check his temperature or force him to drink water, I think about you and how you cared for me with such a gentle parental instinct. I'm trying to replicate that in my care for Josh. I'm trying to replicate that in my care for Josh, but I don't think I'm as good as this as you were. You were so young, just a few years older than Josh is now, but I'm sure you felt much older than you were. I know I did. We had been through we had been through things no kid should have to experience. It makes me wonder if Josh feels his age or if he feels older than he should because of all he's been through. I want him to feel young for as long as he can. I want him to enjoy his time with me. I want him to know that love is long before. I want him to know what love is long before I did. And I hope what love is long before I did. Sorry. And I hope that love has been sleeping slowly into him, that it doesn't hit him all at once like it did me. I want him to grow up with it, wrapped in it, surrounded by it. I want him to witness it. I want to be an example for him. I want us to be an example for him and for Emerson. Me and you, Lily. It's been 6 months. Move in with me. I love Atlas. So if you remember in chapter, I guess it was chapter 30. 29 or 30. No, 28, I think. Where he is asking her, how long does he have do they have to wait? Does he have to wait? Yeah, it's chapter 28. When he's asking how long does he need to wait to until they can move together, and then how long does he need to wait until until he can propose, and the move-in was 6 months, and another 6 months, I guess, for the proposal. So here it is. As soon as I finished reading the letter, I set it down and wiped my eyes. If this is how much I cry when he asks me to move in with him, I have no idea how I'll survive a proposal, or wedding vows for that matter. I pick up my phone and call Atlas over video chat. It rings for 10 long seconds, and when Atlas finally answers it, he's lying on his living room couch. He's smiling through his obvious exhaustion from being up all night with Josh. Hey, beautiful. His voice is barely awake. Hi. My hand is curled into a fist, and I'm resting my cheek on it, pushing down my huge smile. How's Josh feeling? He's okay, Atlas says. He's sleeping, but I think I stayed up so long my brain is too overwhelmed to shut off now. He puts a fist to his mouth and stifles a yawn. Atlas, I say his name sympathetically because he does look absolutely drained. Do you need me to come over and give you a hug? You mean, do I need you to come home and give me a hug? Mhm. I smile when he says that. Yes, that's exactly what I mean, what I meant. Do you need me to come home and give you a hug? He nods. I do, Lily. Come home. This is so beautiful. And I guess this is what the readers been waiting for, these kind of cheesy moments, I would say. So this is the end of chapter 34. And tomorrow we will read the last three chapters because they're quite short. So we'll finish tomorrow. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the live reading of the reading of these these two chapters, and how things are coming into place finally for both of them, and they start to see the end of the tunnel, I would say. So I hope you enjoyed this live reading and that you'll be able to join me next time. You just need to subscribe to the newsletter. And so basically when I finish the reading, I just end the recording and then we can have a little chat. So I'm going to do this right now, and I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central European Time on Zoom, here on Zoom, to read the very last chapters of It Starts With Us. We will read chapter 35, 36, and 37. See you soon. Bye-bye.